Thank you so much, Charlie, Dr. Wall, for the opportunity you've given me to open this very important economic summit. I was wondering why I was chosen to give the opening remarks. I thought perhaps it was because I sit on the Committee on Higher Education, and that wasn't it. Maybe because it's my district, well, that wasn't it. My hometown, that wasn't it. Maybe because I live 5 doors down and Charlie knew I wouldn't be late. So I think that was the real reason I've been asked to be here. Before I share with you some remarks this morning, I want to welcome a few people that are here and that are not here due to circumstances beyond their control. First of all, I want to send regards from the Senate President. Terry Murray has either just left or is now preparing to leave on a trade mission to Russia. It's her 3rd trade mission. She expects to come home at the end of next week with great news on some international efforts she's been working on that will go a long way towards stimulating the economy in Massachusetts, and particularly on the South Shore and Southeastern Massachusetts. I also want to welcome the Mayor of Brockton, Linda Balzotti. Linda, I believe you're here. There you are. Good to see you again, Linda. And my dear friend, Senator Tom Kennedy from Brockton, was en route here this morning when his van broke down. So he called, sends his regards, and the poor guy's trying to fix his van on the side of the road right now. And his intentions were to be here, unfortunately. Before I begin, I want to thank Kathleen Kirby. Kathleen, where are you? There you are. For your efforts in putting this together. And of course, thank Charlie Wall, President of Massasoit, and the chair of the Connect. Charlie, the work you're doing in my home area, Brockton, Avon, is really phenomenal. Having just opened up the Middleborough branch, I was able to share that day with you. And the people in Middleborough are still talking about having Massasoit in their community and making higher education accessible to them. You know, some folks, Brockton is far away. And to have a campus in their hometown is such a great joy. It's become a prize of the community in a very short time. And your work in getting that done will never be forgotten. Folks, just a few pearls of unqualified wisdom. Now that the campaign is over, you know, I can put all the canned speeches and the political rhetoric aside and really talk to you about how I feel about what you're doing, because you're doing God's work in so many ways. I think people are going to look back a decade from now and they're going to ask, were those the best of times or were those the worst of times? And I think some today, most today, may say, boy, these have got to be the worst of times. These are difficult. I would suggest that a decade from now, people are going to look back and say those were the best of times. Not because it's going to get worse. It's clearly getting better. But because of how you managed through these difficult times, we will look back and say, in fact, these were the best of times. You see, Massachusetts is one of only a very small handful of states structured as a commonwealth. It stands for the common good. I believe we're one of 4. For that reason, we continue to invest in the future of this great state. Whether it's healthcare, whether it's early childhood education, K through 12, or public higher education, we continue to invest in our greatest assets, which are our people, our citizens. And it's not always easy during these budget constraints that we have to deal with. But we continue to invest. And because of that, we were the last to go into the recession. We were the first to come out of the recession. We're the only state that has created new jobs over the past 6 months, strike that. We've created more jobs in Massachusetts than in all the other New England states combined. Now, why is that possible? Well, a number of things have to come together to make it possible. It starts with our culture of standing for the common good. It's what we believe in. It's who we are. It's not just what we do, it's who we are. We care about our seniors, we care about our veterans, we care about our kids, our children. Public education is a major priority for us. We just don't say it, we live it. But then, along the way, in 1993, I strike that, 2003, the Connect comes along. What a novel concept. higher education, communicating with the government, communicating with business, and communicating with local municipal leaders for the purpose of economic development. Collaboration. What a wonderful concept. I said at an event with Charlie a couple of years ago that when I bought companies that were broken, 1 + 1 had to equal 3 in order for me to buy that company. In other words, the sum of the individual parts, when combined in a very efficient way, needed to be more valuable than the sum of those parts. That's what the Connect is about. See, business as a standalone can't create jobs. There has to be a relationship from the executive branch of government with respect to strategy. And our governor has done an extraordinary job in carving out sectors for targeted growth. Green energy, life sciences, biotech, the film industry, green energy. It goes on and on and on. And even as we were on the eve of a recession, he led the way. He led the way in investing money in those industries so that they would grow, and now they're growing at double-digit rates. Well, that's good in and of itself, but as an isolated action, it doesn't do much. You need to now have education, higher education, preparing our students to compete in those markets. And that's where the connectors come in. Because there's been that communication, there has been that collaboration, there has been that transfer of information and ideas and energy and support. And therefore, we're preparing, you're preparing students for the markets that are just now emerging. You combine that with K through 12, actually pre-K through 12. And now you can look at the life cycle of preparing the state for future economic expansion and success. We prepare them at a very early age with a high-quality education. They now go to a local institution. They get a quality education that's targeted towards the industries and the sectors that we're investing in. And now they stay in Massachusetts, the children, the kids, the graduates, stay in Massachusetts. So now companies want to stay here because we've got the best inventory of human capital in the country. In the country. And then companies want to come here because they can take advantage of that human capital that's been highly educated. That's the work of the Connect. That's what you're doing here today. That's why we're going to look back a decade from now and say, for some, if you're in Mississippi or Arizona or Arkansas or West Virginia, and you're just sitting on your hands waiting for the good old days to come back, a decade from now they're going to say, boy, we thought those were the worst of times. These are the worst of times because they're not doing anything to create their own breaks in the future. You're doing that. The reason I wanted to be here today is to thank you for doing that, and to thank you for my colleagues in the legislature for the work you're doing and the way you're collaborating and communicating to bring Southeastern Massachusetts and the South Shore to the next level. It's working. We're working our way out of this economic hole that was caused by a global recession, and we're doing it because fine intellects, high integrity business people, people who are putting their personal ambitions aside and putting their fiefdoms in the back row and not worrying about their own personal gain, are all working together, sharing ideas, sharing their energy, sharing their love for this Commonwealth, and pushing us forward. So I just wanted to thank you for doing that. I want to congratulate you, Charlie, on the work that the Connect is doing. And as you begin your work today, I just want to offer my thanks in advance. Thank you.